As pet parents, we hear all the time that mixed breed dogs live longer than purebred dogs. But is that actually true? Yes, there is evidence that mixed breed dogs can live longer than purebred dogs, and there are plausible biological and breeding related reasons why this might be the case. But the effect is moderate at best and not enormous. And things like breed and size and healthcare and many other factors matter a lot as well. Here are some of the key findings about lifespan differences between mixed breed and purebred dogs based upon a large review that was recently published that was found that mixed breed dogs live on average about 1.2 years longer than size-matched purebred dogs. A similar study identified that dogs with no recognized purebred ancestry, so mutts, had the highest life expectancy, and that was followed by crossbred dogs, which are dogs that have one purebred ancestor, and then that was followed by the purebred dogs that had the lowest life expectancy. So why might mixed breed dogs be living longer? Well, I think there's a lot of explanations, but I think the one that makes the most sense to me, at least, is this idea of genetic diversity or heterosis or this hybrid vigor. So purebred dogs often come from restricted gene pools with relatively high inbreeding somewhere in the past, and that's going to increase the risk of inherited disorders. Mixed breeds typically have more genetic variation, which is going to reduce the chance of inheriting two copies of a deleterious recessive gene for a particular trait that is not consistent with healthy long life. But many purebreds have problems tied to extreme traits like flat faces, giant size, highly specialized morphology. That's all going to elevate the risk of disease or shorten lifespan. Where mixed breeds may avoid some of those extremes of such traits. For example, a breed with severe conformational issues like the brachycephalic breeds, the dogs that have smushed faces, have a much higher risk of respiratory issues affecting their health span and lifespan, where a mixed breed with more moderate features are going to fare better. There are also some size/growth rate interactions, and among dogs, one of the strongest predictors of lifespan is body size. Smaller dogs generally live longer than larger dogs, and since mixed breeds may often fall more into that medium to smaller size category, or at least they're avoiding the very largest extremes, this may give them a relative advantage. So yes, I would say on average, mixed breed dogs may live somewhat longer, roughly a year to 1.5 years longer than size-matched purebreds. That's likely due to greater genetic diversity and fewer breed-specific genetic burdens. However, the difference, again, it's moderate, and many other factors, size, genetics, care, lifestyle, matter greatly. So while mutts live longer is a useful generalization, it's far from an absolute rule. So if you want to learn more about canine longevity, make sure you follow.